What's going on, everybody? Spaceballs here. Welcome back to another Heroes War video. Today, guys, I want to go over the best starting units or the best units you can start with in this game. Now, Gamer posted a tier list on Discord, and I'm going to put it on the screen for you here. And I want to talk about some of the best starting units in this game. And it doesn't come down to just one unit, because you're actually trying to build a team to get through as much content as you can. So I picked 3 heroes from this list, and I want to briefly go over them here and explain to you why I think they're the best picks for you as your first contracts. I also want to go over the 3 codes that are out in this game. Now, if they add more in the future, I will post them down below, and they're always posted on the Discord. So if you want to follow me there, the link is down below. And I also want to go over a few tips and tricks that I've learned so far while playing this game, in hopes that will help you guys not make the same mistakes that I have made already, because you know I'm an epic fail and I'm always making mistakes. So if I can save you guys from making those same mistakes, that would be fantastic. Before we get into this one, I just want to thank you guys so much for the support recently. And every single day, we are growing at a fantastic rate, and I just can't thank you guys enough for it. The giveaway video for our YouTube sub celebration will be up on Monday. We have a exclusive Discord giveaway going on, and we have the 700 follower Twitch giveaway going on as well. So if you want to be a part of all of those giveaways, they are all linked down below, and the YouTube one will be up Monday. We also have the random giveaway that we do here on YouTube, and all you have to do is sub to the channel, comment and like on my past 10 videos, and you will automatically entered into the random giveaway, which is a $50 prize. So thank you guys so much. This is my way of giving back to you guys and showing you how much I appreciate the support. So let's just get right into this one. Now, when you look at this tier list, you can see that Popo is at the top of it. It seems that Popo is at the top of every single Korean tier list that I have looked at. And it's not that I don't disagree with this. I just don't think Popo should be your first contract. I think Popo is hands down one of the best heroes in this game, and I absolutely think that he can carry you, but I just feel like for your first contract, you should be going with a straight damage dealer. And the awesome thing about this game is they give you 3 free contracts within your first 4 days of playing. So don't make the same mistake I did and waste 1,200 gems on your first contract. Just use the free units they give you in the beginning. Do as much campaign as you can, and I promise you, before you know it, you will have your first free contract. Then you can take that contract and use it on your first contracted hero. And before we get into this tier list, I want to show you real quick another epic fail that I made. You want to contract the hero first before you start summoning for its skills, and I'm going to show you why. Now, you can go to any one of these draw events and you can click on view rate up cards. And when you click on this on the top here, for this one, because it's a special banner, you will see you have the event. So it is an up chance to get Turek. But if you look here, you see I have my Popo, and that's because I pulled his contract. So you can click on change over here, and every time you contract a hero, it will show up in this box. And you can click it, and as you can see on the bottom, this is your rate up heroes. So this is going to give you more of a chance to pull his actual contract. Now, I'm not sure if this works for the reroll, because unfortunately, I already did my reroll. I was going to start another account, but it just turned into too much of a process because I had to link this one and I didn't want to. I just want to keep this as a guest account for now. So let me know down below, or let everybody know down below in the comments, if you can do this on the reroll summons, as in click on the rate up and put your contracted hero for an extra chance to pull it. And I wish I would have known this. I don't think it's that big of a deal because I barely have done any summons yet. But I want to make sure you guys know this before you start spending money. If you're going to spend money and start doing a bunch of summons and not realizing that you can put the hero here and get an extra chance to get his SSR skills. And you can do this on every single banner that you summon on. It doesn't matter. They all have it. I just don't know if the reroll one has it. So please let me know down below. And same thing here. You can change your main heroes on the top, and that will give you an up chance to pull its SSR skills. I think even R or SR, it just gives you an up chance in general to pull that hero skills. And on the bottom here, it works the same for the weapons, the Fury card, except this one, you can't change it. It just goes by order. So let's say you wanted this one here. You can wait until the time clicks out. And then once this comes up to the top, you can summon on this banner in hopes to get the card that you're looking for. So just keep this in mind. I think in my first video, I said that you should contract the hero first. I'm not sure, but if I did, I take it back. You know I'm an epic fail, so I'm trying to justify it here. But you can't blame me. I was only playing for like 2 hours. So now with all that being said, go back to the contracts here. Popo should definitely be a contract that you pull. I just don't feel like it needs to be your first one. Now, you guys know I pulled Kaeross, and I am absolutely loving him. Now, on most of these tier lists, he is not S tier, and I think it's because a lot of these Korean tier lists are based more late game and not so much just starting the game or the first 2 weeks into the game, which is the reason why I wanted to make this video before I make my beginner's guide. I kind of feel like when starting off, damage dealers are going to be a lot more valuable to you than a support unit. Now, I'm not saying Popo with fantastic runes can't carry you through the early game. He probably can. But I just feel like something like Kaeross, Chapman, Talia will do it so much faster. And then you'll also be building your farmer at the same time, so you won't have to worry about wasting resources or backstepping or anything like that. So in my recommendation, I would say go with a damage dealer for your first and second contract. And then your third contract, you can go with Popo. He's not going anywhere. They give you 3 free contracts, like I said, in your first 4 days of playing. So you will get him for free. You don't have to worry about that. So the first one I'm going to go with is Chapman. And the reason I'm going to go with him is because this man is a damage dealer times 100. I feel like this guy can pretty much wreck anything, and he is going to be my next contract. Which you see down here, I just received it because we just had reset. And I was going over his skills, and this man just seems like a demolition derby. So we got the Declaration of War here with his SSR card. That's what we're going to go over here today. We got increased attack by 20% when you attack an enemy with 30% HP or below. So pretty much if something is at 30% HP, he is going to one-shot, is what this is saying. So we got his A1 here. We got Chain Slash. Inflicts damage to the enemy, 34% of the attack, 5 times. Now, with that 5 times, he's going to decrease their defense, and it goes up to 70%. And the fact that he's hitting 5 times, you better believe that he is going to decrease that defense, and he's probably going to one-shot any unit in the campaign once you get decent runes on him, which I will show you where to get those from in just a second. So then we got his A2. Now he has inflicts damage to the enemy by 137% of the attack and increases your rage bar by 5 per inflicted enemy. This just sounds like it's just going to do so much damage. So then we got receive damage up. So now it increases the damage received amount of the enemy for 2 turns with a 80% chance. I'm just reading the max chance once you max out the card. And plus you're getting these extra stats here, which is 47.8%, 39.8%, and 50.6%. And then we got this skill here. Violent Rush inflicts damage to the enemies by 131% of the attack and bleeds the enemy for 2 turns with a 75% chance. So I'm guessing bleed is just like poison. It's probably going to do 5% of the target's max HP. And then we got bonus damage. Adds 1 more round of chainsaw, inflicts bonus damage to the enemies by 45% or up to 45% of the attack. So I feel like starting off with this guy, he's just going to wreck through the campaign, pretty much carry you hands down. And that is exactly what you're looking for your first couple days, week, 2 weeks into this game. And that's kind of what I'm basing this video off of. You know, your first few days in, going into your first few weeks in. And I feel like that's where a lot of these tier lists are confusing people because they're based more towards the mid to late game. So everybody's just kind of going with Popo, kind of doing the content super slow because he does do damage from what I could see, but he's not doing the damage of a Chapman. So he's going to be my first pick on the list. And these are in no order or anything like that. Look at them and see which one you like best and roll with it. All 3 of these units that I'm going to go over today are all viable as your first, second, and third pick. You can even pick all of them to create your first team. And the funny thing is, the units they start you off with, you can absolutely use those before you even do anything and just stock up on resources, because the team that I'm using, or the team that I was using, was literally carrying me through the campaign with no issues, and I was just using the free units that they give you in the beginning. Amy is actually a fantastic unit. She's not rated that high in the tier list, but again, I feel like early game, her rate would be much higher because she just wrecks in campaign, much like a lot of the other units. So that's my man Chapman. Next up on the list, we got Kaeross. Now, again, he's an attacker, and I own Kaeross, and I can tell you right now, this man is amazing because he's got this passive here, which is poison, and he absorbs attack bar by 100, which is a full attack bar when you attack a poisoned enemy. Now, his whole kit is based off of poisons, so he's pretty much always taking a second turn. So we got the A1, inflicts damage to the enemies by 90% of the attack and poisons them for 4 turns. And it's a 4-turn poison with a 30% chance. That's a little bit low, but this is a 1. We have to take that into consideration. And then we got increases the skill's distance, which is good because it just moves him back, I believe. This way he's not in like hitting range. And then we got Shadow Step, charges towards the enemies and knocks them back. So he's pushing them back away from your other units, so you don't have to worry about them one-shotting anything, because in this game everything has a damage radius, which we'll go over in the beginner's guide. And then we got inflicting damage by 117% of the attack, grants poison, effect for 4 turns, 60% chance, much higher than the 30%. And then we got bonus damage, inflicts bonus damage up to 40% of the attack when attacking a poison enemy. So as you can see, Kaeross's kit just meshes so well. Everything works perfect together, and it makes him a destroyer, especially early game, because you got the poisons, you got the attack bar, and then on his A3 here, he is just wrecking stuff, and that's why I'm so happy I went with him. So we got darkness attack, moves behind the enemy to inflict damage by 104% of the attack 2 times, and inflicts penetration damage to the poison enemy, again based off of poison. And then we got bonus damage, inflicts bonus damage by up to 15% of the enemy's current HP. So again, fantastic for bosses. And then the bonus damage cannot exceed Kaeross's attack, which I never noticed an issue with that. So as you can see, Kaeross's kit is just geared towards a early game new player. Pretty much brings everything you need to the table when it comes to damage and poisons and just being a flat out wrecking machine. So that is my man Kaeross. I recommend him. He is fantastic. So happy I picked him. Absolutely loving him. And then we also got this A4 here, which I believe does not show on the card, but I believe when you equipped his SSR card, you also get a 4th skill. We also have to go over Chapman's. I think I forgot. So we got moves behind the enemy with the lowest HP out of all the enemies and inflicts damage by 105% of the attack 2 times. Poison enemies will instantly inflicts bonus damage to the nearby enemies by attack. I think what this is saying is he's going to pop the poisons. So he's putting up poisons, then he's blowing out the poisons. So if you have like 3 or 4 poisons, he's going to blow those poisons up and he's going to do that damage immediately. So again, just bringing massive damage to the table. So if you run other poisoners with him, this man is just going to be blowing up everything and just everything's just going to disappear. Fantastic unit. I'm pretty sure that's what this means. I have to watch him battle now and really see. Let's just pull Chapman back up here real quick. And now we got his passive. Now I did read this, but it just reads different when you read it here. So we got inflicts bonus damage to the enemy. Yeah, we actually read that. Inflicts a damage to the enemy with the lowest HP by 49% of the attack 6 times. So again, deadly blow. I missed these because when I pulled up the card, I didn't realize that it doesn't show the 4th skill. It does down here, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. It just reads different when you read it over here. Glad I caught that. We don't need another epic fail. So now, I was actually going to go over Evelyn here because she is a ranger, and I feel like you would want a ranger on your team, and I feel like that's what makes Amy so good. The issue is she is locked behind a paywall. Now, if you want to spend a little bit of money, I would hands down recommend going with Evelyn in the future. But the issue with this is you can't get her super early on. Therefore, she doesn't really fit into this video too well. But I do want to give a shout out to her because she is absolutely fantastic late to end game units if you're willing to spend a little bit of real money on her. So we're actually going to go with Talia. and you can literally contract all 3 of these units right away for free just by playing the game for 3 days. Now, as far as the skills go, you are going to have to summon for those, but you can take all the free gems that you get, use those for summons, and hope for the best, and just make sure you contract them first and you put them in your upped rate box. I can't say that enough. So now we got my girl Talia here. So we got increased penetration rate by 30% when you attack an immovable enemy, and you will see in a second why this is so good. And penetration rate just means, I believe, extra damage, as in like a defense break does extra damage. So we got the A1, inflicts damage to the enemy by 170% of the attack. The closer the distance, the less damage. And the further the distance, the higher the damage. Pretty much just like Amy, I believe. I never really read Amy's skills, but she is a ranger, so I'm sure it works very similar to this. And then we got distance extension, and that increases the skill's distance. Just massive damage. And then we got snare throw, inflicts damage to the enemy by 228% of the attack and grants the immovable effect for 2 turns. There you go. Pairs up with the passive with a 80% chance. Range extension. Changes the range skill, extends the range, and inflicts damage to the enemies nearby the selected enemy by 50% of the skill's damage. Selected enemy excluded. Hunter's Flag. Summon the Hunter's Flag. That inherits 35% of your total HP. So you do lose a little bit of HP with this, but if you're running Popo or a healer, that is not a problem. So with this skill being red, I'd probably stick to Chapman or Kaeross as your first contracted hero. Unless you're running Josephine, then it won't matter. As long as you're running some type of support, this shouldn't matter too much. Then you got increased crit rate of all allies near the flag for 3 turns. I feel like Talia is going to be better around a team more than by herself, but as a team player, she is going to be one of the best units in your team. So that's why I kind of feel like Kaeross or Chapman would be a better first pick, but that's just my opinion. Talia still is a fantastic choice. And then we got increases your attack by 1, 2, 3 turns with the 80% chance. Let's just read this one here. We got attacks in least HP order out of all enemies to inflict damage by 75% of the attack 3 times and grants the immovable effect for 2 turns. The 80% chance inflicts bonus damage up to a 60% chance of the attack when attacking the same. Again, just by reading their kits, you can tell that they're just going to do massive damage. Now, she is a ranger. She's not attack based. That's why I would say Kaeross or Chapman would be the best first pick for you. Just my opinion. You can go with whoever you like. But for me, I went with Kaeross. I'm going to contract Chapman. And I contracted Popo because I was doing some summons and I was just trying to get his SSR card. So let me show you the current team that I'm using. And then I'll show you how to put the codes in. So let's go into the campaign quick so I can just show you how I have it set up. And as you can see, it's working fine. I've had no issues so far. Towards the end, we stopped getting 3 stars, but that's just because I started changing stuff on the team. If I didn't start changing stuff with lower XP, I don't think this would have been an issue star-wise. But as you can see, I switched Popo onto the team. I put Iron onto the team as my tank. And I switched Josephine into the back. Now, a lot of these free units that they give you are really good starting off. But what I want to do here is get rid of Amy for Talia and get rid of Josephine for Chapman. And I feel like that team will pretty much carry me through all of this campaign. I might have to put another support instead of Iron in the front line, but I'm going to take it one day at a time and see where it goes. But I feel like that is a really solid team for you guys to start with. And all of these units, you will be able to use them late game, PvP content. And I'm sure in some content, you're going to have to make some changes and use different units. But that's every single gacha game that you play. But I feel like going with these units and this style team, you will be able to burst through this campaign, no problem. Now, when you get stuck on the campaign, the first thing you want to do is you want to go back to your trace specimens. You want to click on this, and you want to jump into Trivia in Izzard, and you want to farm these as high as you can and collect as much gear as you can, because that's what's going to get you unstuck from the content that you are currently doing. And I recommend, if you were going to play this game for a long period of time, and if you're willing to spend a little bit of money, buy this $9 pack, because you're going to get an extra piece of gear every single time you do a run. And I'm going to buy this myself after this video, and I promise you that this is going to make a huge difference, because it's going to give you that extra chance to get that golden piece of gear that you might be looking for. And I promise you, These games come down to gear sometimes more than the actual heroes. So if you are stuck, definitely work on your gear in trade specimens. I promise you that's what is going to work for you and get you progressing through the rest of this game. Now, as far as codes go, you want to click on this event box over here where you see my mouse clicking. You want to go up top where this little microphone is, again, where you see my mouse clicking on new. You want to scroll down and you want to click on coupon exchange. I'm going to put 3 codes on the screen for you right now, right there. Now, I don't remember exactly what you get from these codes. I think it's some summons, some energy, some XP. It's free stuff. Enjoy it. As they come out with more codes, I will post them down below in this video. As I always do, I will post them on Discord along with this tier list and new tier list that we find, and the tier list that I'm going to make myself will also be on the Discord. As I said in the beginning of the video, that is down below. And once again, thank you guys so much for the awesome support. I cannot thank you enough for it. I love each and every single one of you. I will see you in the next one. Spaceballs out. Peace.